Well, folks, conventional wisdom said that once the writer's strike ended, which it has ended, that the screen actors wouldn't be too far behind. Well, not so fast, my friends. Talks between Hollywood actors and studios broke down late Wednesday, ending any hopes that the 3-month strike by performers would come to an end anytime soon. So that's right. The writers can write all they want, but there's nobody to act. Well, except for some exceptions. Studio bosses walked away on the grounds that the $800 million more per year sag-aftra proposal meant the gap is too great. Strikes began this past July, with actors highlighting a number of issues, including pay and the use of AI, which are two of the centerpieces of the discussions, the talks. The studios announced that they had suspended contract negotiations after making an offer as good as the one that the recently ended writer's strike. The Actors Union declared their opponents bullying tactics and said they were widely mischaracterizing their offers. You know, folks, honestly, this is just a bunch of rich people striking against a bunch of rich people, with one group of rich people wanting more money from the other rich people. That's what this boils down to. I mean, yeah, you do have some, budding actors that don't have the millions and millions of dollars that some of your big names have. Like a Mel Gibson, Sylvester Stallone, Mark Wahlberg, Chris Hemsworth, hell, Tom Cruise. But it just goes to show that there really needs to be an effort by independents. Heck, even YouTubers streaming. There's a lot of YouTubers I would rather watch than go into a movie and watch some of the crap that Hollywood puts out. Because at least what the YouTubers put out, it's real. For the first time since the strike began on July 14th, the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, had resumed negotiations with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, which, by the way, they want to drop that last P off of the AMPTP, which, I don't know, which represents the studios, streaming services, and production companies in strike talks. Negotiations resumed with writers last month. Their strike ended 5 days later, but similar progress was not made with the Actors Union. Let's see here. The studios walked away from talks after seeing the actors' most recent proposal on Wednesday. It's clear the gap between the studios and the actors is too great. Conversations are no longer moving us in a positive direction, the producers said. The actors' proposal would cost companies an additional $800 million a year and create an untenable economic burden, the statement added. However, in a letter to members sent on Thursday, that's today, the actors said that figure was overestimated by 60%, adding that its negotiations were profoundly disappointed the studios had broken off talks. We have negotiated with them in good faith, the letter read, despite the fact that last week they presented an offer that was shockingly worth less than proposed before the strike began. Now, the actors, again, want increases in pay for streaming programming. Actually, they want more transparency, which I can sympathize with that. And control over the use of their images generated by AI. Okay, I can get behind that too. The producers insisted its offers had been as generous as the deals that brought an end to the writer's strike and brought a new contract to the Directors Guild earlier this year. Just remember, the directors also had to negotiate too. Would have been something if all three would have been on strike. But the union letter to actors said the companies refuse to protect performers from being replaced by AI, they refuse to increase your wages to keep up with inflation, and they refuse to share a tiny portion of the immense revenue your work generates for them. From the start, the actors' talks had nothing like the momentum that spurred marathon night and weekend sessions in the writers' strike and brought that work stoppage to an end. Actors and studios had taken several days off after resuming, and there were no reports of meaningful progress despite direct involvement from the heads of studios, including Disney and Netflix. Are you sure you want Bob Iger in that? He's got enough of problems, let alone to be in negotiations with the actors. But the writers also had their own false start in negotiations, with the initial attempt to restart lasting just a few days, a month before the finally successful talks. Members of the Writers Guild of America voted almost unanimously to ratify their new contract on Monday. Their leaders touted the deal as achieving most of what they had sought when they went on strike nearly 5 months earlier. They declared their strike over and sent writers back to work on September 26th. But now they've got nobody to act. Late night talk shows returned to the air within a week. Did anybody really miss the late night talk shows? I mean, seriously, anybody? I can find much better things to watch at the 10:30 Central Time slot than Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, especially Stephen Colbert. And other shows, including Saturday Night Live, will soon follow. With no actors, production on scripted shows and movies will stay on pause indefinitely. So what do you guys think? You think the actor strike is going to end anytime soon? Or do you think this is just all crazy? Comment down below. Tell me what you think. While you're at it, please take the time to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share this video out there with your friends and family, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos here on YouTube. And as always, I will see you later.